to the show. Welcome to the show. The Great Minds Project 5.0 show is your new home for open, honest, and thought provoking discussions on the topic of criminal justice reform, ending mass incarceration, ending the school to prison pipeline, ending black on black crime, ending gun violence, ending domestic violence, rebuilding minority communities, and holding everyone accountable for the roles that they play in the continued neglect and destruction, continued neglect and destruction of our minority communities. That's the Great Minds Project 5.0 show, the podcast. So, it's unnerving to me to constantly see how violence is taking so many of my young brothers and sisters. It's unnerving to me. Because we got to step up. We got to do something. We can't keep hiding our hands behind our backs, sitting on our hands, and thinking that things are going to get right. We can't keep putting our hands behind our backs and thinking that the work is going to get done. The work only gets done by those who do the work. So if we sit back and watch the violence continue to unfold in our neighborhoods with our little brothers and sisters, if we continue to sit back and watch this, then aren't we just as guilty as those who are directly involved in these criminal acts taking place? We got to step up. It's simple. We got to step up. I do not like to see my brothers and sisters constantly, when you have a child, 6, 7, 8 years old, say they tired of going to funerals. 6, 7, 8 years old saying they are tired of going to funerals. You hear what I'm saying? A child 6, 7, 8 years old supposed to be focused on playing with toys and going to elementary school, skipping school, not doing the homework or something, but definitely not have their mind wrapped around not wanting to go to any more funerals. There's something wrong with that to me. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Put it in the chat. Let me know that I'm wrong, because I feel like no child should ever have their thoughts consumed with not wanting to go to funerals. 6, 7, 8 years old. My cousin say she did not want to go to any more funerals. Come on, man. That hurt. That hurts. So here we are at the precipice of time when bullets are hitting everybody in sight. And nowadays, it seems that just one shot and the person is gone. One shot, the person is gone. I miss my brothers and sisters who have passed away due to gun violence. I miss us because I know that this ain't how it's supposed to be. I miss us because I know that the tears that your mother cry are real. I miss us because I know if any of us could just step up just a little bit, we can slow down this trend of losing our young brothers and sisters to gun violence. See, we have to wisen up as a people. We have to stop being scared as a people. We have to stop making excuses as a people. We have to stop this, y'all. Our children's lives are dependent upon if we're going to come together, the adults. Sure, you have these politicians, and we put all of our hope and faith and all that stuff in these politicians. And these politicians don't represent us. They're not living in the same households as us. They're not living next door to us. They don't know how it feels to have no food on the kitchen table. They may have experienced that at some point in their lives, some 30, 40 years ago. But that experience was long gone. They don't know. We can't keep on putting our hope and faith in the hands of politicians. We can't keep doing that. Because over and over and over again, politicians have shown us that they don't give a about us, period. They came to our neighborhoods and rallied us up and got us into their meetings and their little voting booths and had us vote for them with the promise that they're going to come to our neighborhoods and allocate monies to go to community centers in our neighborhoods and things like that. And then once they get elected, you might not see them no more. Well, if you do see them, it's going to be on TV and they're going to be at some rich neighborhood. Well, if you do see them, it's going to be on TV and they're going to be talking about how we need to clamp down tighter on that neighborhood. We cannot keep expecting politicians to be our hero. We cannot keep expecting politicians to be our hero, to pull us out of the trials and tribulations and the troubles and the traumas that we go through. We can't expect them to pull us out of that. We here. Brother saying some strong stuff. He said, bad people do bad things. Police your own community. Listen, I don't like to be throwing up. Yeah, well, I grew up this way. See, back then, you wouldn't have did this back then. I don't like to get off into that, right? I don't. And I'm not going to get off into it now. However, I will just say this here. In today's time, if people would stand up and take back our neighborhoods, police our own neighborhoods, we will learn to have respect for one another. And we will learn to rebuild our neighborhoods. And we will learn to trust one another. Because we will understand that we got to live in this neighborhood together. We got to live in this neighborhood together. It's like if we live in the same house, then I know you don't think we're going to be beefing and we live in the same house. No, we're going to talk. Because I know I got to shut my eyes sometime to get some sleep. I don't need to be losing rest because you may be thinking about doing something to me, or vice versa. And that's what I'm saying about our neighborhoods, man. We live in these neighborhoods. We live in these neighborhoods, but yet we refuse to stand up for these neighborhoods. We refuse to stand up for the children who are on their way to school in the morning, and the guy right next door is selling drugs, shooting drugs, smoking drugs. We refuse to step up as parents and say, we're not going to have this right here. I'm not saying that you can or cannot use your drugs or sell your drugs or whatever. I'm not trying to get in the way of whatever it is that you're doing. I am trying to tell you that please don't do it in this area. There's children around here. It's elders around here. We need your help. We don't need you to be one of the destroyers of our neighborhoods. We need you to be one of the rebuilders of our neighborhoods. That's what we need. We need men and women who are courageous enough to enter their own neighborhoods and set bounds in their own neighborhoods. Have conversations with people in their own neighborhoods. Yet, we know what to do. We know the players in the neighborhood. We know that. But we won't go talk to them. We'll go cry to city council and say, this, and that is going on in my neighborhood. And the problem with that is that that's your neighborhood. You don't complain about your floors being unswept, unclean, your dishes being unclean. You don't go to somebody outside to tell them about what's going on inside your house. Where we do that at? No. So now, in your neighborhood, we supposed to have enough respect for one another that I can come to you as a man and say, look here, I don't think it's a good idea to continue to engage in X, Y, and Z because that causes fear in the children and the elders. They're scared to come outside because they don't know if their time is going to come when they step outside that door. The children want to have fun. Share my feed out, y'all. I'm asking that y'all share my live feed right now. Share my live feed, please. We run to these politicians. You know, we look for Joe Biden to do some stuff. He's the president. He ain't gonna do absolutely nothing for Detroit. You got Gretchen Whitmer up there in Lansing. She been to Detroit. She know how it is. But she put that burden on the mayor. And the mayor tries to put it on city council. So now we're going around and round and round. Meanwhile, my brothers and sisters are passing away at an alarming rate. Just had one young brother who took his mother's life out in Inkster. Took his mother's life and went on a run. Took his mother's life and went on a run. They caught this young man, I think it was at a Domino's Pizza. He was ordering some pizza in downtown Detroit where all the police is at. That says a lot. That says a lot about the type of people that we are and how laxed we are, how unconcerned we are, how insensitive we are to one another. Because there is no way possible that we should allow these type of acts to continue to go on in our neighborhoods every single day, day in and day out. We seeing these atrocities happen every single day. Another child shot, 10 years old. Another one shot, 11 years old on the west side. Just in the last couple weeks, there has been so many, and I'm just talking about Detroit right now. I'm not even in the cities outside of Detroit. I'm not even in the states outside of Michigan, because everybody's suffering this same tragedy. Parents and family members are crying, going to funerals every single day. And for what? For what? But yet, soon as the police take the life of one of us, we got attorneys running up on us. We got the news running up on us. I'm talking about, now we want to protest. We want to march up and down streets. Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we do. Because now what we doing is we putting a price on the life now. That's really what we doing. The truth shall set you free. I'm going to tell you the truth. We putting a price on the life. The police is taking one of ours. So now in our mind, we like, I mean, you can look at it in social media. The first thing people say nowadays is that's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit. Oh, the police shot, that's a lawsuit. Let's march. It's going to be a memorial on a corner of such and such tomorrow for this guy. We're about to put a GoFundMe together for him. We're about to call for the resignation of Officer so-and-so. They don't even want to name him, but I think his name is this. He was a white guy. 2-3 black guys. We will march up the street no matter the weather. We will march up the street if the police take the life of one of ours. We'll march up the street. Man, we courageous. The amount of courage that we have is through the roof. The amount of confidence that we have is through the roof. Our words are so sharp and our connection is so deep that if we did not know it, we would think that we were all blood related and in unison, because we sung one language. When the police take the life of one of us, we speak one language. When they take the life of one of us, I'm talking about somehow, some way, a march is put together and hundreds and hundreds of people are there. Hundreds. And it may last for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. And we there, marching, protesting. We want the video camera released. We want the officer name revealed. We want this. We want that. We want the officer fired without pay. That's what we do when the police take the life of one of us. I know what I'm saying right now is not so favorable to some people. The viewership is low because I'm speaking the truth. So don't even chime into my show if you don't want to hear the truth. That's how we do that. Because that's our problem. That's one of our greatest problems, is that we don't want to hear the truth. We hate the truth. But the truth of the matter is that when the police take one of our lives, we line up like soldiers. We line up like soldiers. We'll go out in the street and march and protest, take gas, that gas stuff all in the face. Let them rough us up and stuff. We'll tear up something, all type of stuff. Why we don't have that same energy when we take our own lives? When we taking each other's life, why don't we have that same energy? That's all I'm saying. Why don't we have the same energy when we taking each other's lives as we have when the police take one of our lives? I remember a few years back, I forgot which situation it was that made national news and all that stuff, where the police took a life. One of my friends, he called me. He said, "Man, you coming down to the protest?" I said, "No, absolutely not." He said, "Why, what's up, man?" I say, "When I start seeing our people protest for us taking the lives of one another, then I will start going to those other type of protests. Until then, I'm not." That doesn't mean that I let police off the hook. Hell no. For those who know me, know I don't let them off the hook under no circumstance. But what I'm saying is that I'm not going to make it look like the police taking a life means more to me than us taking our lives. Because it don't. It truly don't. In fact, it hurts me more to see us take one another's lives, because we know what each other is going through. We know how it feels to lose someone. We know how it feels to be broke. We know how it feels to not have anyone to really talk to, not have anyone to really look up to. We know how it feels. But yet, we will commit this heinous act against one another. So it hurts me more to see one of us do this to one another than to see them do that to us. Because oftentimes they ain't never lived the life that we live. They ain't never lived in this type of life. They can't walk in our shoes. They can't live in our house, let alone in our neighborhood. Come on. But yet, here we are. I don't care what city you in. I don't care what city you in right now. Detroit is ranked number 2 in Michigan for the most dangerous or most violent city. Saginaw is number 1. I think Flint is number 3. Then you have Ben Harbor, Kalamazoo, and all those other places. But I didn't bring that up to show you where we ranked at. I brought that up to show you and tell you that every city that I named is a minority city. Saginaw, Detroit, Flint, Battle Creek, Ben Harbor, Grand Rapids, Muskegon. Come on, man. Come on, man. Our minority cities are under siege. It's like this here. If the police don't take our life, one of us will. Do that even sound right, man? If the police don't take our lives, one of us will. Come on, man. It should never be like that, man. I understand that things happen. I understand that emotions flare. I understand all of that. I understand human nature. What I don't understand is that how we can allow this to continue to happen as if we don't see what's going on. Come on, man. Listen. Every day, another life lost. Every day, another life is lost. And what are we doing about it? Because every single time a life is lost at the hands of the police, every single time there's a protest. People are enraged. People want answers. And we're not going to stop until we get answers. It doesn't matter if it's a year later. We still glued to TVs. We still harassing the politicians and police and prosecutors. We want to know what happened. Where the video at? But we don't have that same energy when it comes to us. We don't value one another's lives when it comes to us dealing with one another. We don't value one another's lives like that. But soon as the police take one of our lives, it's like they committed the cardinal sin. They took the life of one of our people. And I'm not minimizing what they're doing. I'm not minimizing that at all. But our doggone show ain't minimizing what we doing either. Because the truth is the truth no matter what. The truth don't need no support. Statistics already show what we do to one another. We don't even got to go by statistics. Anybody within the sound of my voice who have lived in, who still live in or go in minority communities, then you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We got brothers and sisters sitting up there. I just watched, and this is what hurts. This is what hurts too. You have a young sister. Two guys get into it at the gas station. You have a young sister. This is a green light gas station, so it's cameras everywhere. It's lights everywhere. So the guy get into it with the other guy at the gas station. She goes in her trunk, grabs that stick, got the stick right behind her leg in her hand, and she goes and hands the guy the stick. The guy walks up to the other guy that he got into it with and hit him right in his chest. And now you have 1 life lost, 2 lives gone. Come on, man. Come on, man. My sisters, wake up. My sisters, wake up. My brothers, wake up. My brothers, wake up. You have to put value on your own life. You may not value somebody else's life because you don't know them. That's understandable. That's like betting somebody. I bet $100 that you got $100 in your pocket. You don't even know the guy. That's an asinine bet. But you got to value your $100 and understand that this $100 is what separates you from being hungry and being fed. That $100. And that's how we have to begin to look at these situations that we find ourselves into. Is this worth me giving my life for? Is this worth me losing my life for? Because the situations usually only turn one way. Somebody end up losing their life. And for the other person, if he's caught or she's caught, he end up going to prison. And if you have this type of paint job, the prosecutor is going to prosecute you to the maximum of the law, which is first-degree murder. And they're going to push to find you guilty of that particular offense and nothing less than. If you get something less than that, the sentence is still going to be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Now you've just thrown your life away. And I have asked many guys in prison. I'll be talking about it on my podcast, The Great Minds Project 5.0. I'll be talking about my prison experience on there. But I used to talk to many guys about why they got into it with the guy and shot the guy and this type of thing. And man, I heard so many stories, but very few told the truth that it was stupid, that they just did something stupid. Man, I could have just walked away from that. It wasn't even that serious. And that's what I'm telling us right now. It ain't that serious, brother. It ain't that serious. We got a lot of our brothers and sisters who I personally know are just they in this prison system for the rest of their lives, and they just praying for an opportunity. They're praying for an opportunity. And I get it, I get it. I was there. I get it. So, but I also know that it didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be that way, but our pride and ego stands in the way of our success in many areas of our lives. Our pride and ego stands in the way of our success. This is why when the police takes one of our lives, our pride tells us to stand up. Stand up, take action. We would use terms like so and so didn't lose his life in vain, and we would go to talk telling these little stories that I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I got you. You ain't gonna never be forgotten. You ain't gonna never be forgotten. And then we'll turn right around. And if we've been drinking, we might get into it with somebody at the repast. I just recently seen this happen. And they wanted to do stuff to each other at the repast. Why are we so quick to give our lives away to a system that was put in place to oppress us and destroy us and break us like they would break a horse? In the manner that Willie Lynch said. Just went to a funeral. I have been to so many funerals just this year. Some of them was people that I actually knew, firsthand, was jam tight cool with. Some of them was just people that I knew somebody who knew them. But it all means the same thing. It all means the same thing, especially when you're speaking about how we take pride in protesting when the police take one of our lives. Where do we get that pride from? Where do we get that courage and that strength from? That we willing to stand up to the authorities after they've taken the lives of one of us. We willing to stand up. We ain't backing down. I'm talking about, we done seen it on the TV. They spray the stuff on us and we fighting and all type of stuff, throwing bricks and 2x4s and all type of stuff. The brother there say just big mad. Yeah, we be big mad. We don't like what happened. We don't like who did it, especially if a white person did it. Oh man, we really mad then. Really mad then. I mean, it ain't nothing gonna stand in our way of getting justice in that case. We're going to be at the court building protesting. We're going to be at the prosecutor's office protesting. We're going to be on the street corners protesting. We're going to be protesting until somebody say justice has been served. Why don't we protest when we do that to one another, though? Where's all the people at when we do that to one another? Where's all my brothers and sisters at when we see one of our own take the life of one of our own? Where's the protest at? Why ain't we trying to find out who did this, why he did this? Why ain't we trying to punish him or them? Why ain't we trying to do things to bring justice for the life that was taken when it's one of us on one of us, like we do when it's the police on one of us? Why can't we stand up then? Why can't we stand up then? Oh, I got my man Big Unc right here. Let me see what he's talking about here. Big Unc. I'm trying to let y'all interact, my brother. All you got to do is, I'm going to send you an invite. I really don't know how to do it. Send a request to come on. Send a request to come on. And I got a few people that want to come on too. But it's just this just been on my mind, man. It's just I always I fight against the system. That's me. I'm a rebel. I'm an abolitionist for real. So I'm always standing with the people, right or wrong. But I realized that it's like a waste of energy to continue to fight against the system that's fighting us, but not fight against the mentality that allows us or causes us to go at one another. Because the truth of the matter is that that's where the war is at. The war is being waged from me to you. Because if you don't make it out the neighborhood because I did something to you, if you don't make it out the neighborhood, then you're not going to even have to deal with nobody else out there anyway. So the war is happening right in our neighborhoods every single day. That's where we need to focus our attentions at. I'm not saying don't go to the protest when the police take the lives of one of us. I'm not saying that. I didn't see you send a in request yet. Let me see. Let me see something right quick. Okay, there you go. Let me see here. All right. So so can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you. All right. One of my other brothers was trying to get in here. Let me see. He was trying to get in. Yeah, I don't really know how to get people in and all that other stuff. Right, right. Man. Yeah. Mm. Wow. Mm, mm, mm. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm. A fear factor. Check this out. It's somebody on this ticker, Mario Hill, 1969. He said basically the stuff that we talking about is not a new revelation. It's not a new revelation, my brother. Uh, we never said that it's a new revelation. What we're saying is that we need to step up. What is it going to take for us to stop acting like cowards? Because see, you talking to somebody who served 28 years in prison, 28 straight, not came out and did, no, served 28 straight years. So you're talking to somebody who's rebelled against the system my entire life. You're talking to someone who really don't like police, period. But I'm not saying all of them are bad at all, because it's a lot of great police. But the system is corrupt. So you're talking to someone who's been around. I've been in the streets my whole life since I was age 9. So, but I'll be talking about a lot of that on my podcast, the Great Minds Project 5.0, which I'll be launching tomorrow. So it's not anything, a new revelation. We're not trying to do that. But it bears importance to keep reminding us of what we're doing to one another, so we can understand that while we protesting every single time a shooting happened with the police with one of us, we protest every single time. I remember an incident on the west side of Detroit. It had to be like maybe about, I think it had to be like 6 years ago before I got out of prison. And a little guy that was on the west side on Livernois somewhere, and the police was trying to wrestle down the guy's friend for whatever reason. I don't know the facts. I know what I seen on the TV. And so his friend was like, "You ain't gonna do that to my man's." And his friend pulled out his stick and tried to shoot the police literally from just a couple feet away. Missed him. And you know what they did to him. You know what I'm saying? And then when they got him on the ground, they did him again. And I don't agree with that. But being a human being and accepting the truth for what it is, and knowing how I would react, and knowing how my emotions would flare up in that moment, the young guy, he tried to hit the police from just a couple feet away, and the police upped and got him. But yet they was protesting. Matter of fact, that was the protest that my friend called me and asked me, was I going to be at? And I said, absolutely not. I said, when we start protesting about us taking the lives of one another, then I will start going to those type of protests. Until then, don't even ask me. I have not been to any of them since, because I love my people so much that I have to tell my people the truth. I have to not just go along and get along. I have to be the outlier, if you will. I have to be the one that stands up and be the voice of reason, that be impartial and just, that the one who will stand up and say, hold on, there go my friend right there, right? I have to be the one that step aside and say, you know what? The brother was wrong. The brother was wrong. I don't care if the police white, red, or blue, or red, white, and blue. It doesn't matter. If you're wrong, you're wrong, right? We don't want to accept responsibility for our behavior. And so then what we end up doing is we point the finger at everybody else because we too coward, or we're too scared, or we're too misunderstood to be willing to step up and take responsibility for the role that we played in a particular situation. That's me saying we're not always wrong, but we're not always right either. They're not always wrong, but they're not always right either. So, excuse me. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Like we saying something new. No, but that's the problem. We're not even saying anything new. What we're saying right now has been said 100, 1,000 times over. The question, though, is when are we going to wisen up and open our eyes up and see what's going on? When are we going to step up? That's the question. So you brothers and sisters who chiming in on the live feed, share my feed out with y'all. I appreciate it. Share my feed out because this is a topic that is very should be close to all of us. This is a topic that should be close to all of our hearts, because I'm sure that all of us have suffered some type of loss. It is. Mm. Right. Right. Because we know. Right, right. So you think that you can just drive down the street, fly up and down the street, they get behind you, chase you, you jump out with the gun, you think they just gonna let you get away, huh? Man, listen, and you know, again, I always inject in a conversation when I talk about this type of stuff that I did 28 years in prison. I say that because I try to help people to understand that I definitely don't take the side of the police. Definitely. But I'm also not going to take the side of stupidity either. I'm just going to stay out of that one because that was some retarded stuff that you thought that you was going to rob this lady of her car, fly down the street, the police get behind you, you jump out with the gun, it's clear as day, it's a gun on camera, even though you didn't point the gun, and then they shoot you, and then sure, they got to take responsibility for their part too, right? We know that. We ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about the emotions of humanity that's on full display in those moments. What would I do? See, that's what I always, what would I do? You know, and so now you have this guy who just did the robbery, stole the car, got in the car chase, jumped out with the gun, looked back at the police that you can see on camera, probably raised his arm or something, but we don't know if he actually raised the gun, but he raised his arm or something. Police said he raised his arm with the gun. Okay, they shoot him. Now, will I still stand with the family against the police? Absolutely, I will. But I'm still going to be the truth teller to say, look, we got to understand our our brothers and sisters got to leave this stuff alone because we tend to look for people to come to our aid in these situations, but yet they keep putting themselves in the worst of situations. Come on, man. What we supposed to do? Come on. I remember I was in prison, right? My friend probably listening to me too. he gonna hate when I tell this story. So this was like one of my best friends in prison. He was my bunkie too. We worked in the food service in the kitchen together and everything. This guy got into it with everybody, man. No exaggeration. Everybody in the kitchen he has gotten into it with. They have had words. They have squared off and all that type of stuff. And he always expected for me as his friend that when he get into it with him and he ain't talking to him, I ain't supposed to talk to him either. But I told him, I said, bro, I said, why would you think that I'm gonna do that just because of you when 9 times out of 10 tomorrow you and him gonna be cool again? And now I'm left holding the bag with the problem with the guy now. So I literally had to tell him the truth in that moment that, bro, you start these problems because if everybody having a problem with you, then that means you the problem. Because you are the common denominator amongst everybody. I said, but me, I have to separate myself because I don't want to get caught up in that type of stuff, right? So this is no different than out here us saying, man, I support you. You still my friend, but man, I can't ride with you on that stuff, man. I gotta be a man of my own and stand up for my own integrity and say, look, man, behind closed doors, say, man, that was stupid, bro. That was stupid, man. You putting lives in danger. But no, look, he was good. He was good. He at home now. He served 27 years. And he at home. That's my guy. He grew up. and he became more humble with experience and with really learning how to deal with people. He became humble, and that's kind of the point that I'm making now, to where we are so quick to pull a gun out on one another. And we already know, man. Mama said, don't pull it out unless you're going to use it. And so now the generation now really, really live by that creed. Don't pull it out unless you're going to use it. So they using that thing, right? Even if they don't hit nobody, they using that thing. So now we living in a lawless society, and I'm not talking about the police. I'm talking about amongst ourselves. We're living in a lawless society that cares not one bit for one another, that values nothing about the life of one another. And when this happens, everything around us, the children, the elders, the pregnant, the disabled, everything around us is in danger. Because there is no respect, there is no love. We have no concern for the well-being of anyone. And that's where the problem is. How, I knew I had something early on in my life, because my aunts would always remind me. They would always say, boy, if you ever do something good with your life, well, you're gonna be real, you're gonna have an influence on a whole lot of people to do good, because they're already following you while you're doing bad. So imagine if you do good. And so when I got in prison, I often tell a story on other platforms that I speak on. Hold on, let me see who this is. Official AV Smooth. Okay, that's my little homeboy. Let's see if I get here. Yeah, I'm trying, man. I done sent them some invites, and so I remember one day when I first went to prison, a lot of the old heads used to pull me aside. Islam there. Come on in, man. I just sent you an invite. So a lot of old heads used to school me. And we in prison, we say breathe on me. So they would breathe on me. That's teach me, school me. So they would breathe on me. And okay, I'm about to send it to you again. I'm about to try. Yeah, I definitely. Let me see some. Oh yeah, say you got it. Invite it. And so the old heads used to breathe on me all the time. And I was like 18 years old. I was wild, and a lot of the old heads was already 28, 35, 38. So they had already did a lot of time. And so I didn't really listen to them. Don't get me wrong, because I was a manipulator, I picked and choose those parts, the things that they said, to hold on to, and I put the rest in my back pocket. So by the time I turned 26 years old, I realized that I had life without parole in prison. And I realized that, man, I ain't going home if I keep living like this up in here. So I grew up literally in that very moment. In that moment that I thought of it, I grew up, and I told myself then, I said, I want to start an organization to pay homage to all them old head guys who taught me to be the man that I am becoming today, and those women who, a lot of my family members who visited me, and a few of them worked there, who taught me to be the man that I am becoming today. I said, And I want to call that organization the Great Minds Project because they allowed me to stand on their shoulders to see a freedom that some of them may not ever see, but they paved the way for me. And so that's what I did. And right now, I mentor to youth, and I mentor to anybody, actually. All right, I'm sending you another invite. Invite. I just sent you 2 more invites. And so I try to allow people to stand on my shoulders to see a freedom that I may not see, because there's certain things that I fight for in this life right here with respects to certain the passage of certain laws and things like that. This is the new civil rights era. So it's things that I fight for right now that I may never see. But I'm paving the way for somebody behind me to come enjoy the benefits of my labor and the labor of so many people like me. So my life has not been, and this kind of goes back to that one brother that said what he said, that we're not saying anything new. Yeah, but when you did time like I did, and you grew up like I grew up, and you come to understand life and understand your people and love your people the way I do, I don't care how many times somebody said what I just said. I don't care about that. I feel like I mean, you can believe that people were shooting like Michael Jordan way before Michael Jordan, but that didn't stop him from coming out shooting that way, did it? And he mastered that way of shooting. And then Kobe came behind him and he mastered that way of shooting. And then LeBron came behind him and he mastered that way of shooting. And now all of them got the same posture when they shooting, because they mastered that way of shooting. So it doesn't matter how many times before it has been said. What matters is that it's still being said. The civil rights movement of the 40s, 50s, and 60s never died. We still fighting. It's just for a different civil right. The civil rights back then wasn't about us taking one another's lives. It was about laws that oppressed us. It was about systems that oppressed us. It was about lynchings that were authorized by the laws that were in place. Well, the civil rights of today is about the lynchings, which we call police shootings nowadays, the lynchings that's being justified by the laws that's in place. It's about the lynchings that we have committed against one another now, based on some, we say, man, it ain't about that, it's about the principle. That principle become the law that we live by, that we use to justify to take the life of one of our brothers and sisters. That principle. So we living in the civil rights era of today. And these are the issues that we're dealing with. So it's going to take a whole lot more than the voice of one man, the actions of one man, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 men. It's going to take more than that to wake society up and wake our communities up to the fact that we are a community. We are the only one that can claim our bloodline. That means that we are connected. And as soon as we find out, as soon as we respect and learn that we are connected, we will protect that bloodline the same way other nations of people protect their bloodline. They don't let nobody come in. Frederick Douglass. Absolutely. Right. That's right. Mm. That's right. That's right. You ain't lying. That's right. We have no respect for one another, man. I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. That's the truth, though, man. We coming into a different understanding of life, man. And that's that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ain't that something? Wow, that's crazy. That's right. Mm-hmm. It's being woke, man. That's being woke, being conscious, man. You know, that's recognizing as the sooner we recognize, that we have been asleep. Soon as you recognize that you have been asleep, that means that you're now awake. Because a sleep person don't know that he's asleep. But if I told you this right now, I say, yeah, if you say, man, I called you, man, but you ain't answer your phone. I say, yeah, man, that's because I was asleep. Now, if I was awake, I would acknowledge your call. So obviously, I didn't know you called because I was asleep. So, so as soon as we acknowledge that we are awake, we're no longer asleep. But too many of our people, they some of them are scared to acknowledge that the opposition is using being woke as enemy language. So what some of our people do is they just stay away from being woke. That's crazy. That's crazy. So you're gonna stay away from being woke because the enemy told you that to be woke means that you are my enemy, means that you are spewing hate, means that that you're something beneath humanity. And you decide to stay away from even using the term woke because you don't want to wake up your enemy. Come on, man. Come on, man. We scared, man. We we scared. It's amazing. It's amazing to me the type of things that we do and the way that we run from our responsibilities to protect our own lives. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Defend yourself. This is your temple right here. Protect this. So now think about what we just said, man. So now when you are woke, you protect this because you understand the value of this. In fact, you understand that this is invaluable. You can't put a price on this here. That's how woke you are. But here we are. We will not value this. We do not put value on this because we are asleep. And just like in the movies that we see and some of the stories that we've been told by some of our uh, grandparents and their grandparents about you better not say that in front of Mr. Charlie. You better not say that. So we have to began to unravel some of the things that we've gotten ourselves caught up in. You know, and sometimes it's to no fault of our own. Sometimes we just caught up in this because, you know, grandma, mama, auntie, somebody else. But that it doesn't matter who got us. I remember 1991, man. This deputy warden at this prison I was at, she told me this story. I just got caught up. I had beat the police up, and I didn't even know who they was trying to restrain. I just didn't like it, and I went to wailing on them. And so I'm in the hole. I'm in segregation. The deputy warden sat me down. She said there was a bird flying over a farm. She said the bird fell out the sky into some horse manure that was on the farm. She said, now, cats don't usually befriend little creatures like that. You know, because the cats see the creature as a rat or a mouse or something, and they eat them, right? But the cat, for whatever reason, the cat went up to that bird, climbed up in that horse manure and got that bird out that horse manure and got that bird to safety. Didn't harm that bird. She said the moral of the story is that everybody that gets you in trouble ain't necessarily your enemy. And everybody that gets you out of trouble ain't necessarily your friend. We have to be mindful and woke enough to see which one is which in whatever the situation was. So sometimes our mothers and friends and whoever else get us in situations, have us walk through doors in the blind, but yet we must take responsibility because we guided our feet to walk through that door, and we turned that door handle and we walked on through. So we have to be woke enough to understand that behind that closed door may be something that is not healthy or beneficial to us. But what we'll do is we'll go through that door, then we'll blame others. And that goes right back to how the brother can be totally in the wrong when the police do whatever they do. And everybody just want to ride with the brother, even though he's totally wrong. Ain't nobody tell you to do that. You don't want to walk through, you walk through that door. And you had that stick out when you walked through that door. What did you think they was going to do? Give you flowers? Or they did give you flowers. No pun intended. But what, you thought they were going to ask you out for breakfast or something? Come on. We have to be willing to accept what it means to be woke. Because then we are willing to accept the trials and tribulations of life that will come our way every single day. If we're not willing to accept, if we're not willing to wake up and accept being woke, then we're going to keep getting that which come to sleepers. And that's just a dream. Because the nightmare is out here. And we find a way to navigate through these nightmares every single day. And that navigation through these nightmares is what helps us to become who we are. So again, it's about us accepting responsibility and agency over who we are. Stop getting mad. Stop getting mad because the police did this to a brother or sister. If you're not going to have that same energy when we do it to one another. And yeah. I mean, you know, I look at all situations. I don't just blanket the whole situation, right? It's certain situations that, you know, like Sandra Bland. I know her that's I know her that situation. She had just changed her life around. She had went to jail for that day, and she was talking good to her mother. Next thing you know, they told her she hung herself. Right, okay, right. Like we really believe that, right? You know, so it's situations. Tamir Rice, uh, uh, Mike Brown, Freddie Gray. It's some situations that what no weapons, what no criminality involved. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking on those situations where criminality is involved. It's kind of like, and I don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings, but I gotta say this, and I gotta just be me. I know the truth hurts sometimes, and this may be one of those times. You know, you go to a funeral, and for example, I'm a perfect example. I was deep into the streets, into criminality and everything else. If I was to die, people would cry and they'd be like, "Why they have to do that to him? What was I doing to them?" That's the question. You knew I was a criminal. You knew I robbed people. I broken houses, stole cars, sold dope, uh, uh, beat up people, all type of shot at people. I did all type of stuff. Don't. And I told my people this about my funeral. Don't get up there talking that nice stuff about me. That will disrespect me. I will turn over in my grave. Tell the story of me. Tell the story of me. Don't go to talking like you don't understand why this happened. Come on, so you got mothers out here who acting like they don't know how this happened. Yeah, your son been running up and down the street with guns for the last 5 years. He is rumored that he shot 6, 7 people. What you think his day wasn't gonna come? He done sold dope to everybody up the block. He done ran off on a plug a couple times. So you don't think his day was gonna come, huh? Come on, man. Just being for real, man. I mean, karma, man. Your day come. That what you do unto others will be done unto you. It's just a matter of time. Some people time don't come for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And then next thing you know, they have a heart attack. That was it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I got to get ready to close out this show here. And I got you. I definitely got you. I appreciate your presence. Absolutely. All right. Take care. All right. Peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. But those who did not hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message because someone needs to be inspired on this beautiful day. It's some people who did not wake up today. It's some people who is mourning the loss of their loved one today. We want to keep those in prayer. We want to keep in prayer those brothers and sisters who are dealing with medical problems, such as a few of my friends. We want to keep them in prayer. We want to keep in prayer our communities because we always want to somehow, some way, be a beacon of hope for our communities. Peace.